Hey Google, turn the music down. Hello, everybody, YouTube world. I am Courtney Goresmith. As you guys know, thank y'all for joining me tonight. I just again need to be more present here, and just in that season where I want to reach more people. And I want to talk about real estate. And I want to talk about how what I know can actually help expand your knowledge and expand your passive income. Okay. So when I got started doing this, I honestly was broke. Like when I say broke, I mean broke and busted, bankrupt. The economy had tanked. It was around 2007, 2008. And when I tell you nobody was really selling real estate, and if they were, they weren't making much money. I mean, I made one sale. I made maybe about $1,200 in 12 months, right during the 2007, 2008. But such a blessing came from that moment as well because when I did get out of my depression, I met a wonderful, wonderful guy who ended up being one of my best friends, almost like a father figure to me. And he was one of the investors that I used. Um, and to this day, we are just amazing friends. Hey, what's up, cousin? Hi, hi. So we were just amazing friends and we still are. But that was how I honestly got my mojo back during this time because it was rough, rough, rough. But so, what I wanted to talk to everybody about today is really just how to build passive income using what you have right now and whatever situation that you're in. And especially for real estate agents, y'all, because so many times we are at that closing table and we're on, not saying the wrong side, but we're on the wrong side, you know, too often. Okay. So, we may have investors there, we have buyers and sellers there. And a lot of times we're just walking away with our one time commission. And as good as that feels when you first start this real estate game, when you first hop in here, as good as those closings feels and those big chunks of money, it ain't it, y'all, because you will end up having to work your entire, imagine being a real estate agent, right? Just a real estate agent and starting at maybe 20, 30, 40 years old, and honestly you don't sell anything, you don't get a paycheck. Okay, so that's why I'm just an advocate for like build passive income. It's so important when you are a real estate professional, when you are a licensee and you're just out here chauffeuring people around and you're depending on sales, for purchases from other people, right? So just want to just impress upon every single one of y'all to just think about building some type of passive income for yourself. And there's so many ways that, and so many different avenues that you can choose to do that. For me, I was starting exactly where I was, and that was broke, busted, no money. And so the avenue that I use, because I was a real estate licensee, and I did have pretty much everything I needed. I had people around me with good credit. I had people around me with money, properties. And so I just found a way to creatively combine all those resources and capitalize off of it. Okay. So, again, for me, I was able to link up with an investor who purchased a lot of properties. And I said, let me see how I can pretty much place myself in this deal, not only by being the person who went out and found these leads for him, and I orchestrated the deal. Okay. Um, Not only did I find these leads, but I found a way to nestle my way into the deal and stay there, right? I started managing these properties for this particular investor. And so that was a way for me to start building a passive income, for myself. So, just think about that because you may be starting with very little, you may be starting with nothing, just the way that I did. Okay. And so for me, again, all I could offer was the ambition and the fire that I had inside of me and the knowledge that I had inside of me. And so for me, I, hey, let me position myself in this deal. Let me keep myself in this deal. I didn't have the money, but I had the knowledge and I had the ambition. So again, as a real estate professional, you can manage properties for these same investors that you're going out here purchasing these finding these leads for. That's that's the key, guys. Google, turn the music down. So eventually I got myself in a position where the income that I was making from each rental, right? Each rental had a bill. I mean, I named it. That first house right there, the first property that I managed, I named that bad boy. That was insurance. Another one paid the cell phone bill. You feel me? The other one paid something else. So you just follow me. Every freaking house had a name, right? But put yourself in position to create some type of passive income. You don't want to be 70 years old out here still chauffeuring people around, still showing property when you have all these. And the thing about real estate, there's so many legs, so many different things that you can do in real estate. And so you don't have to get bored with what you're doing. That's one thing that I absolutely love about this gig. But the goal should be to whatever your expenses are, whatever your monthly expenses are. And so for me, it was kind of easy for me to retire myself pretty soon because my expenses weren't really excessive at all, right? I think at the time I had a property, we had purchased it. It was like $50,000. And I got a private money loan from the same investor that I'm talking about now. And so I was paying him maybe about $500 a month. And let's say we had a car payment, maybe $500 for that. So I want to say that our household expenses were really low. We may have been putting out about $2,500, right? So for me, it wasn't that hard um, not minimize my expenses, but to cover all my expenses with the passive income that I had coming in. And for others, it may be a little bit harder. But again, it just depends on the price point that people are leasing in, because typically, when you manage a property, you make about 10% of what that rent is. And when you rent it out, you may make a bonus for the first month's rent or something like that. So depending on how you prioritize and manage that money, but listen, just get to a point where you're thinking about creating some type of passive income for yourself, because the end game is freedom, y'all. So a lot of people are out here busy bees, and you just think about this, honey. When I stopped running myself raggedy and working myself to the bone and having to bring my kids to work and show property with them and in the bed all night on my laptop, I didn't know what to do with myself. I really didn't, because I was so used to being busy and just working myself to the bone. I almost went into a depression because I was like, what am I going to do with myself? What in the world? Because, we get so used to being caught up in this rat race. And then, over time, you find things to fill in that time with. And then you start doing things that you absolutely love. And there's no business that you could pitch me that I would accept, right? That interfere with my peace, that took away from the freedom that I have, right? I love my leisure, and don't let a lot of these people out here trick you on social media that's on the online, pitching this and they're busy to the bone. Listen, at the end of the day, they want the freedom, and real estate is the ticket, y'all. I know there's other things. Hold on, baby. There's other things out there that you can do, but I don't know of anything that allows you to be as hands off, right? And to be able to do what you do from like remotely from anywhere in the world. I've been, all the way across the globe. I've been in Dubai, and I was able to purchase a property in the hotel room in Dubai because I had boots on the ground here. I had my laptop. So you got the computer. You can always draft up whatever it is that you need. And because of all the modern day technology, right? And modern day technology and ways of transferring money, things like that, you can get her done. You can call mobile notaries to go do the entire deal for you. that's the beauty of this business, right? I can find a deal right now in Tennessee and draft my deed up, email it to a mobile notary, right? And that's all we need is a deed and a mobile notary and a witness. And they go over there, they do everything that we need them to do to execute the deal, and it's a done deal, right? And I just don't know too many, I don't know too many businesses out there that, hey, Google, stop the music, that you can start and get into and have this type of leisure, have this freedom. And I wouldn't trade it for anything, y'all. I mean, I got family, I got friends that start businesses and they're miserable. You know, some people own jobs. I don't ever want to own a job. I don't want to be in a restaurant business where I'm there from 9 to 9 at night, right? Because you own a job, you don't own a business. So you got to be careful when you're choosing your profession, right? And the things that you think you want to do. And I always tell people, if you can think of it from, just back your way into the situation where you say, okay, what type of lifestyle do I want to live, right? And then from there, let me decide what business or what career I can choose that will allow me to be able to live that lifestyle, instead of, getting a job, becoming a some type of officer of the court or whatever. I don't know, just becoming some whatever I wanted to become. And then I'm trying to figure out how am I going to live my life? Like, let me ask the boss, can I take off? And I just can't even imagine having to ask someone permission. Like, I'm a grown woman, I can't even fathom the idea. And maybe because I've never really worked for anybody. I off the gate, my first job I worked at I was at 12 years old. I worked at Hardee's, and after that, I had never really clocked in anywhere. So I've always worked for myself for the most part. And I just can't imagine. I remember my mom, me wanting to take her somewhere, and her, I gotta ask the big man, or I gotta find out. I can't even grasp that concept. And I just don't feel like I just, oh, crazy. No, I'm not gonna ask. That's really good. Hey, I'm so glad you joined me, cousin. I do have to just be more present here. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna challenge myself. But I think this is a great way for me to be able to kind of get some of the information out and just reach a few people that are hungry and curious about how they too can get in the real estate game and do some things just outside of the box and get some just unconventional wisdom. So many ways. There's so many things that I've done that just aren't done the traditional way. And I feel like it can really, it opened the doors for me. And I know that it can open the doors for a lot of you as well. So I just wanted to pop in as a starter for myself to get on here and try and remain consistent. Um, because I know a lot of people want this information. But again, I know for sure, if I'm being true to myself, I'm not a person, I don't want to sell. I don't necessarily want to sell a program. I don't want to. I don't necessarily want to teach, and I like to teach. Don't get me wrong, but I like my leisure, guys. I don't know how much I can express that. And even, with the two followers that I have now, believe it or not, I have people popping up in my office. I have, random emails, random calls. And, you may not see me out here helping a whole plethora of people, but believe me, I have my fair share of one-on-ones, my daily calls from people with advice. And so, I don't want to overwhelm myself. And that was one reason why I didn't shut my brokerage down. It's not closed, but I had an office, and I was recruiting agents, had agents at one point, and I just decided, like, I don't, I know me now. I don't want to manage people. I want to manage projects. I don't necessarily want to manage people. And so through this whole social media age where everybody feels like, oh, you should be doing this, you should, and I almost got caught up in that, but I had to step back and just be like, okay, what can I do where I'm actually being true to the things that I really want? And if I did it another way, it would only be to challenge myself or to please somebody else. And so I don't want to bog myself down with any of that. But sorry to get on a rant about that. Um, But you know, so the main thing is just getting here and just impressing upon everybody, like, let's focus on building some passive income. So many creative ways. The next video, I'm going to talk about another idea. I'm just going to put that out there. So today I was just want to come to you guys and talk about how you can hop into creating some passive income with little no money at all. But as a real estate agent, you are already surrounded by every freaking thing, all the resources that you need for the most part. So if you're out there finding properties for investors to purchase from you, position yourself in the deal so that you can manage, or someone in your office can manage these properties so that you can start creating some passive income for yourself. Okay. So if you have with rents being 2 grand a month and you're making $200, 10%, $200 off of each rental, right? And you say, all right, let me do at least five. You may be in a house where your payment is only $1,000. And now guess what? You manage five rentals for this particular investor. Another one, you may manage five more. And you put yourself in a position that, you know what, most of your bills, your overhead is covered. I promise y'all, there's nothing like having that type of security, that type of just peace of mind. And as an agent, if you don't sell something, you don't get paid. So imagine having the security, the peace of mind, knowing that regardless if I go out here and sell a house this month or not, I know that my bare minimum is met. I know that my bare minimum is met, but I know that most of you are, it's feast of famine out here in these streets, in these real estate streets. So for the most part, I hope y'all are putting away for rainy days anyway. So that's another video. Okay. So each one of these closings, we can't be operating like I was operating when I got into this game at 19, 20, 21. It was kind of like blow it. You make $15,000-$20,000 a month, and then the next month, the next month comes and you're starting pretty much at zero. I mean, maybe you have $1,000 in the bank that's starting at zero if you made 15, 20,000. So a lot of things that happened in 2007, 8, when the market tanked, I filed bankruptcy, those things needed to happen. Sometimes you have to go through those things so that you can learn how to operate differently. So embrace it all. I did embrace it all, and just want to, that built a passion for me to just be like, listen, do not operate like this. Listen, these resources that are out here, think long term. Again, you don't want to be out here 70 years old having, right? It's necessary for you to show property to be able to eat, to be able to maintain a lifestyle that you we're used to, right? So you just don't want to do that. You want to just start thinking with the end in mind. As sexy and beautiful as this business is, you have to have a extra strategy in the end game. So that is what I'm here for this evening, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I will see you on my next video. Good night, good night, good night. All right, let me see how to get out of here. Thank y'all for joining me, though. All right, see ya.